Hello and welcome to this edition of Diaspora Central with Ingles. With me today via remote by Zoom from Virginia Beach, or Norfolk to be more exact. We have the CEO. This lady is one of the ones that you can never tell exactly where she's from. You go to Angola, you think she's Angolan. You come to the U.S., you think she's from the U.S. You go to Japan, you think she's Japanese. A lady of many passports. The head of the Mambo Room, Miss Tanya Fiske. Welcome to Diaspora Central.
Thank you.
Yeah, so how's it? I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad to catch up with you. I know you're kind of pretty busy. Just got back from overseas. You went to Africa I think early this year, right? Was it early this year?
Yeah, I went to, I was lucky enough to go back to Luanda. So I was in Angola in February, beginning of March, and then
yeah, so welcome to Diaspora Central. We're gonna have this conversation with you today. We're gonna try to touch up on a lot of the stuff that you have done. So you are primarily a dancer, right? A dancer, studio owner, dancer, studio owner. What else? Give us a mentor.
Dancer, studio owner, mentor. I teach instructors how to teach, and I consult with other studios around the country to kind of help them with their programs and their classes. And so I mentor other studio owners.
Right. Got it. Yeah, let's talk about your infancy, where you were born. How did this Kianda Tanya Fiske get formulated?
Yeah, I was... As you know, we spoke about it before, but I was born in Japan, and my father was military.
Okay.
So he was in the Navy, and then after getting out of the Navy, he went ROTC Army. Okay. So I had a unique bringing up where I was lucky enough when I was really young to travel a lot, go to a lot of different countries, listen to a lot of different languages, learn and see firsthand several different cultures, which kind of brought me to where I am now. I have a huge passion for cultures and dance and art, and it kind of is unique to every country, and it really kind of makes me thrive.
Got you. Now, Japan, born in Japan. You've been to Japan after, how old were you when you left Japan? I guess that should be my first question.
So I was only 2.5 when I left Japan. Okay. So I was very young. I haven't been back yet, and every time I plan a trip, I get sidetracked by another dance adventure, and I end up in another country completely. Yeah. But I did do 11 years of martial arts at Okinawan Shorin-ryu, which is a Japanese martial art.
Oh, okay. So you're in touch with your culture, your heritage of your home country. Well, I guess since your father was actually there working, you were basically an American born offshore. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely an American that was born in Japan.
Right. But your heritage though is a little bit different than that. You're red haired, so that's primarily European, which is
the red hair comes
Irish?
from my mom. She's Scotch Irish.
Okay.
And she immigrated to the United States when she was 16, actually.
Oh, okay. So you're first generation American on your mom's side.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow. Yeah, through diaspora and there. And okay, and what about your dad?
My father is my father's family is Italian on his mom's side, and they actually immigrated from Sicily. Okay. And then my grandfather's side, he is Scottish. He is Spanish, European Spanish, and Swedish.
Oh, okay. All right. So you got mix. Yeah. So you got Italian. You got Italian and Sicilian.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm not gonna make any comments on that. I'll leave that connection alone. I'll leave that connection alone. We understand the power of Sicily, so we leave that alone.
Yeah,
So you've been
Sicilian family from upstate New York.
got you. Yeah, that's definitely connected. Now, have you been to Sicily before, to Italy?
I have not been to Sicily, but I have been to Italy.
Okay.
I was lucky enough several years ago when I was traveling to Portugal, actually, to train in Kizomba and Samba. I was able to go to Trieste, which is northern part of Italy, and I also went to Milan, and I traveled in between, kind of traveling around a little bit in Italy.
Got you. Now, you went to school in what region of the country? You grew up in what region of the country?
So after my father retired, I grew up. I mostly claim New Jersey as my home.
Oh, okay. New Jersey.
We grow strong up there.
Right. So Northeast. Yeah.
So I'm a Northeast girl.
Okay.
And I went to school in Newark, New Jersey, which was at Rutgers University.
Okay.
And I studied psychology and criminal justice.
Okay. Psychology and criminal justice, and you are doing dance and music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what my family says too.
Right. I guess that does help some with being able to teach. I guess understanding the psyche of the people that you instruct.
It does, but it actually helps more in the mentoring programs that we're developing here. I used to work with a lot of foster children.
Okay.
And at-risk youth.
Okay.
And so one of the goals at the Mambo Room is really integrating that work with dance so that we can create programs that gives inner city kids and at-risk youth a place to learn different cultures and also be able to express themselves in different ways through art. So it's a way that I'm kind of integrating my education along with my passion of dance and culture.
Got you. Okay, so and what exactly triggered that dream for the Mambo Room? I guess how did you get to that point in which you decided that okay, you needed to create something or be a part of something like the Mambo Room?
You know, I've always been a dancer. I was that kid that, you know, fortunately my mother used to have to run around and chase me because I heard music and
there you go.
But just like many families, you know, they were in my ear about school and education and how I needed to have a regular career.
Okay.
And so for me, I gravitated towards social services and the criminal justice system and law. And so I was kind of doing work in that field. And then I became very passionate about working with kids with dyslexia because I have dyslexia myself.
Okay.
So it kind of started my education and my passion into working with at-risk kids, with kids who have trouble in school.
Got it.
And kids don't have like other outlets.
Oh, okay. So basically, this is somewhat of therapy.
It's a little bit of therapy. It's a little bit of fun. You know, there's a saying that dancers use all the time where we say, leave it on the floor.
Okay.
So if you're happy, you get to dance it out. If you're sad, you dance it out. If you're angry, you dance it out. So everything that you feel can be expressed and the floor kind of takes it all.
Got
right?
you. Now,
so it's a creative outlet for emotions, and also dance is a language. So just like learning to communicate, we teach communication through dance and how to lead, how to follow, how to control your body, how to control your emotions, when to express them, when to like move them.
Now, is there anyone in your family also that does dance or music? Anyone connected to the entertainment industry? Not
officially. My mom used to clean the house and play music and dance with me. So that's kind of how it just started, and then I just kept it going. So so you were just a dancing baby. Yeah, I was just a dancing baby. It's my mom's fault.
Got it. Got it. Well, all right. That which is actually cool, and because you do several dances. Name some of the ones that you guys host there at or the styles that you guys teach at the Mambo Room.
So predominantly right now we teach salsa and bachata, and then we which are Latin, and then we are also teaching Kizomba and Samba, which are Angolan. And then we also have classes in swing, Argentine tango, blues, ballroom, So we expand out, but our main dances are mostly Latin and African.
Okay. Now, so African, are you doing Afro beats? Are you doing Kuduro?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So okay. So you guys also do have classes of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah, but let's kind of go ahead and take a quick break and show, I guess, something that has to do with either one of those two, those dances that you mentioned, so that our viewers can kind of understand what is it that we're talking about. That way, they not like just hearing names like Kizomba, Kuduro, salsa, bachata, Argentinian tango, and what else? What did I forget?
Swing, blues, ballroom.
Right? Because all of those things, they pretty much a little bit different, but also similar in certain aspects, I take it.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the roots of a lot of music, for example, with salsa, bachata, those are Latin dances, but their drums and their instruments have roots in Africa.
Okay, so the musicology actually is somewhat of an African connection too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, so let's take a look at some of those images and then we'll come back and continue this conversation. We'll be right back. If you just joined us, you're listening to Diaspora Central with a.k.a. Ingles. And my guest is Tanya Fiske from the Mambo Room in Norfolk, Virginia.
The vision of the Mambo Room is just like bring all the cultures together through the dancing.
When people think of salsa, they think of the hot spots like New York, LA, Miami. What we would like to do is to create a salsa hotspot here in Hampton Roads.
It got started because there was a group of friends who loved Latin dancing so much and they wanted everybody to learn.
And it morphed into what is now the Mambo Room. Latin dancing does a lot of things for different people. It provides a sense of confidence to people.
You don't have to know the language, but you get to share this dance.
It's just like, bam! You start dancing and sweating and dancing with everybody, and just all your worries, they just go away.
And we have the opportunity to change our community through dance and infuse the culture.
It is a different flavor because it's about dance. People are here to dance, they're here to have fun, they're here to enjoy the music.
And we have a lot of passionate instructors who are excellent at what they do.
Our primary classes that we teach are
salsa, bachata,
and dance fitness classes.
Anybody can do it. It's just basically dance, moving, and just having fun. Your heart rate comes up, you'll burn calories.
It's really explosive body movements.
Dancing reaches the soul. It's amazing how it makes you feel.
You don't want to miss it.
We have lots of opportunities for beginners. We have our social class on Friday nights. Right before our Latin dance party, we offer a little basic class.
Anybody can take that class. Just a very basic, we break it down, the footwork.
1, 2, 3.
And we are back. If you have just joined us, you're listening to Diaspora Central with a.k.a. Ingles. And my guest today via Zoom or remotely from Norfolk, Virginia, it's Tanya Fiske of the Mambo Room Cultural Event Center, right? Is that correct? Yeah, the Mambo Room Cultural Event Center.
Yes.
Right. Now, I guess based on the images that we have just taken a look at, we can kind of see, I guess, why it is a cultural event center. Let's talk a little bit about the event portion, right? What kind of events do you put up?
So we are lucky enough to have a very beautiful large space. So we do weddings, we do quinceañeras. We've also done some concerts.
Okay.
We've done some fundraising events, which is a dance-a-thon, which is an annual event that we have every April.
Okay.
So it just kind of depends on what it is.
Okay. Yeah. So let's kind of get into the nitty-gritty, I guess, of our conversation. At the time in which you decided to do music, or become a dancer. First, what was the reaction from home? What was your parents' reaction?
The first reaction of my parents is, you're crazy.
Okay.
You can only dance for a certain amount of years. What happens if you get injured? What happens if you get sick? You need to have a career. You need to have something else. You can just dance for fun.
Okay.
All of those kinds of things.
Okay.
And I understand those fears and those concerns.
Okay.
But I always say, I'm like, if you wake up and you want to dance and you go to sleep and you want to dance, then you're a dancer.
Got you. Yeah, definitely. Now, so how challenging was you to transition from just being a dancer into becoming a studio owner?
That was a very interesting and fun journey.
Okay.
And
what triggered
by that is I first was able to be at a point where I was dancing.
Okay.
And that was a slow process of
take us through that process.
Yeah, that was a slow process of, dancing a little bit and going out and having fun, to some friends and some people I knew saying, hey, will you teach us a class? And then within a few years, I found out I was teaching 40 to 50 hours a week. And I'm like, how did this happen? And so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to be teaching dance now.
Gotcha.
And then I got sick. So I had a bit of an illness and I wasn't able to work my regular job.
Okay.
And dance actually helped me heal. It helped my body get better and stronger. I still have some, side effects and everything else like that, because it's an ongoing condition, but I'm really much better. And that allows me to dance. And when you have those days where you don't feel well, and dance actually is the one thing you can do, I kind of was able to look at my family and say, so I got a medical condition where dance is better for me instead of one that isn't allowing you to dance.
Okay.
Right? So from there, I really decided I wanted to invest in dancing.
Okay.
And I really decided to want to train. And what I mean by that is, instead of just taking a couple of classes here or there, I, trained with Frankie Martinez in New York, who's one of the top dancers in the country.
Okay. And which dance was that?
And this was salsa.
Okay, salsa. Okay.
And he calls it Afro-Latin funk.
Okay.
And it really is this beautiful movement of body movement and communication and connection to the music and to the drums.
Okay.
And so I learned this main style of salsa that I dance from him. And then I have other influences. I've taken lots of different classes from different instructors, because I feel like it's important to be able to, when you're dancing with someone, be able to communicate. And I love to say that salsa is like Spanish, which means that, Spanish is spoken differently in Mexico and Guatemala and Cuba or Spain. It's all Spanish, but every region has its own flavor and its own dialect.
Right.
And dance is the same way.
Right.
So by training and traveling and going to learn from different instructors and different masters, I was able to get a more kind of global aspect of what I feel for dance. Yeah.
So you more you are a lot more diversified than most people.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you go from salsa and then you just kept on adding different dances to it.
Yeah, I went from salsa to bachata to merengue and cha-cha, which are, the predominantly strong Latin dances. Then I was exposed to Argentine tango and West Coast swing.
Now this is kind of costly, because this is not being taught to you for free, right? And you still okay. So at that point in time, are you basically working and paying for your classes and okay? And were you already working as a dancer, or as an instructor, and paying for that, or you just you had a regular job?
I was working, and then I was, when I first started doing it, I was working as at a foster care facility. And so I started doing some of my initial training then in salsa. And so I had kind of like a regular paycheck. And then I ended up, after getting sick, as I was starting to heal, I started traveling a bit and spending some more time into it. And for example, when I went to Portugal, I would go for several months, and then I would come home, and then I would go back again for several months. And I just kind of looked at it as like going to graduate school.
Gotcha.
When you're going to school and you're training and you're becoming an accountant or a lawyer or a therapist, you have to go to school. You have to train.
Yeah.
And so it's an investment in my field. It's an investment in my passion.
Indeed.
It's an investment in culture.
Indeed. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So basically, it's all about making sure that you're investing on yourself, investing on what you want to become.
Yeah.
That's really key too. Yeah. So eventually you decided, you know what, I got to own my own facility and integrate all of those learning tools.
Yeah, it was, as a dancer, my family was sort of right.
Okay.
You get to a point where you need to continue to expand. Right.
So wait a second. Wait a second. So you said your family was actually right at some point.
Sort of right.
You sort of understood what they were saying. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You can't teach dance forever. Your body isn't, you're not going to stay 20 forever.
Right. So parents don't quite understand, or whatever the song is not quite true. They actually do understand. It's just that it takes you a while to understand what they understand, right?
Well,
I'm just kidding.
I also kind of took it and said, but I can do dance forever, because if you own a studio and you're teaching and you're training other instructors, then dance is still a part of my life.
Right.
Right. It's the next step than just teaching. So like, when you first get into dance, you learn how to dance.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, I'm going to learn how to put a choreography together. And then you're like, okay, now I'm going to learn how to teach.
Gotcha.
And then you learn how to perform or compete, And so there's stages in dancing, just like in every other field.
Gotcha.
And becoming a studio owner was that next stage for me.
Okay. Okay.
And then adding events and adding like festivals and fundraisers is also another way to give back to the community that's given back to me so much.
Got you. All right, let's take another break, and we'll come back, and so we can talk a little bit about the festivals and the events that you do for the community. And if you just joined us, you are listening and watching Diaspora Central, and with me I have Tanya Kianda Fiske. If you just joined us, you're listening to Diaspora Central with Ingles, and with me, my guest today is Tanya Fiske from the Mambo Room in Norfolk, Virginia. Kianda, we were talking about the festivals and the world of festivals, the activities that the Mambo Room does for the community. Now, we understand that Norfolk, Virginia also does have a diaspora community.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to be working with them.
Okay, so how big up? I guess I'm sure that you have Europeans, Latinos, Africans.
Yeah, all of it. I mean, Norfolk, Virginia is a kind of hub of a lot of different cultures and a lot of different communities. We have a lot of people kind of moving in and out in this particular area.
Okay.
And a lot of it has to do with some of the military bases in the area. We have a NATO base here.
Okay.
So we're lucky enough to have a lot of different cultures and a lot of different communities based in here.
Now, for a Jersey girl, though, going to Norfolk, you're kind of getting away from the winter, right?
Yes. Not enough.
Not enough. It still snows.
There's still a little bit of snow.
Yeah.
But I am finally on the beach.
Okay.
So that
there
makes
you
me
go.
very happy.
Okay. Resort-like. Yeah.
Yes.
Resort lifestyle. That's a good thing. Now.
Yeah, I have a good friend who says that all the time.
Yeah. So what's the most predominant, culture in Norfolk? Is there one?
I wouldn't say there is one.
Okay.
No.
Like for instance, in Texas, I mean, the most predominant culture I would say is probably Latin.
Okay.
There's although Texas has actually created its own. It's like you know that you're in Texas when you're in Texas because it's different, right? It's different coming from DC.
I would say probably the biggest influence here is the military.
Okay.
Because of the different military bases.
Gotcha.
But there is a community here that is based here, right?
Gotcha.
So there's kind of two different types of cultures. There's one that's an influx. People are moving in and out all the time because of the military. And then there is another kind of local community here. And that local community is comprised of all different types of cultures. It's really a lot of people who have moved here and then ended up staying.
Got you. Okay. So it's I mean, if you got the ocean on one side, it's I don't think many people would kind of run away from that.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So one thing that you like most about I guess that area, that region. One thing that you would recommend to anyone that would visit that region.
One thing is going to be the beach because I'm a beach girl for sure.
Okay.
So Norfolk has a great beach and ocean view, and then also Virginia Beach, which a lot of people are more familiar with.
Got you. All right. And now one thing on all your travels, give me, and we can probably go maybe by continent or by country. Some of the countries that you have
probably better.
Yeah. One thing from each one of those regions that you have visited that you would recommend that people do or try. It can be food, it can be fashion, anything.
Sure. So in Guatemala, there is a huge, beautiful lake called Lake Atitlan.
Okay.
And you can actually take horseback riding trips that go up to the top of the volcano. It's absolutely beautiful.
Right.
In Asia, I would say the Taj Mahal is a beautiful place.
Okay. There you go.
In Portugal, I'm a big fan of Lisboa.
Okay.
But if you go to Lisboa,
Lisbon,
Lisbon,
the capital.
If you go to Lisbon, you really should go to some of the African dance clubs, which is where they have the Kizomba and Samba.
Okay.
It's such a beautiful kind of rich culture and music that it just speaks to the soul.
Okay.
And so that would be, I guess, Europe.
Okay.
In the United States, I'm a big fan of New York City.
Okay. So not even Norfolk.
Well, if you're asking me what are the best place, I mean, I love Norfolk to live.
Right.
But if you're visiting, New York City has a lot more to it.
I totally understand.
A lot of
so you recommend New York City versus Norfolk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a visitor.
But
if you're in Norfolk,
I think their loyalty to Virginia just got toasted.
You're asking me the favorite thing on a continent. Like North America would be New York.
Be New York. Yeah, now which is actually cool. So that transition to business lady, not an easy transition to make.
No, it was different. It was different.
Yeah.
When you're teaching and you're dancing, it's about the passion and the art.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, when you're owning a business and you're looking at how to, the cost of lights and you want to offer classes that have such benefit to them, but you only have a few students. It's how do you weigh, the financial aspects of running a business and the dance benefits and the culture, which is one of the reasons why we have kind of the hybrid at the Mambo Room, right? Because the goal is to be able to offer dance to anyone who wants to be able to dance.
Got you.
So we have different scholarship programs and we have lots of different varieties of classes and workshops that support our art.
Got you.
And then on a business perspective, being able to host different weddings, different quinceañeras, different anniversary parties allows us to have a beautiful space to also kind of include the community in. And that helps balance out some of that business aspect of it.
Got you. Now, how receptive is the community in Norfolk, Virginia? How receptive are they to something so hybrid or so so cultural?
We have gotten an amazing response. And a lot of that has to do with the Mambo Room actually has existed for about 14 years now.
Okay.
My business partner, she created and founded the Mambo Room as a Latin dance studio.
Okay.
They predominantly did salsa, bachata, merengue, cha-cha.
Okay.
And then when we partnered up and I moved here from Washington, D.C. area, that's when we expanded it to doing African dances and events and things like that. So for the community here, they were ready for it and they were ready for the growth. And so it really has expanded and it constantly is expanding. I'm always meeting new people. And, you know, recently we just met with somebody from a board of a nonprofit here called TACA. That is a Tidewater African Cultural Association here.
Okay, what's the person's name?
Her name is Rita. Colin.
All right.
And we did a dance competition, which was an Afro house or Afro beats competition.
Afrobeats dance competition in Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay, how did that go? Yeah, how did that go?
It was really great. It was a new way of doing things. But they had some really great competitors and really good prizes. And in the past, they've actually done it live where we've had different competitors from around the country. And we've had different artists from Africa come and perform. So it's been really good.
Yeah, that's great. Now, challenges right now with COVID and everything else. How is a dance studio managing or dealing with those challenges?
Yeah, COVID's been interesting. So with dance, obviously you're connecting to somebody, right? And you are in close contact with someone. So what we've been able to do is we've created a lot more footwork classes. And we have, because the ballroom is such a large space, we have everyone in like their own kind of squared boxes, and each square box is 6 feet by 6 feet. And then from the center, it's 10 feet from the next square. Right. So we're allowed to socially distance everyone. We have everyone wearing their masks, and then we have a ton of hand sanitizer around. So it's very similar to a fitness class without the contact. And then when some of the restrictions were released, we were able to partner as long as you were wearing a mask and you kind of had an agreement that you guys were working together. So we limited rotating and we limited events. And a lot of stuff that we were doing has come online. So we've done a lot of virtual classes, a lot of virtual private lessons, and things like that to kind of help keep us going.
Got you. Now, things that are there things that the community can probably do to help you guys who are in that area or in that type of a business actually be able to keep the business going?
Yeah, I mean, we offer, for example, in the beginning of December, once a month, we do what we call a date night. And we have the ballroom, like I said, it's like 3,000 square feet. So it's huge. And we limit it to 11 tables. So it's 22 people. And you can get a dance lesson and a performance and then some open dancing. So we have small things that allows the community to still participate. We also offer a very private experience. So it's you and one other person or you and a group of friends where you are in your own room and you have a class and then you have music and dancing and dinner and wine. So we kind of have integrated the personal dance experience along with like a restaurant style experience to make it more intimate and smaller so it's safer for everybody. Now, question, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to. Have you guys entertained the idea of probably bringing twerking into the styles of dance that you teach? Why are you laughing? Okay, so
I mean, it is
last weekend. Wait, no. So just last weekend we had a heels class and an empowerment class for women. So I won't say it was specifically twerking. But yes, we have had those classes. Right,
because I just learned that it's actually derived from a specific Tanzanian dance. I can't remember the name of the Tanzanian dance, and that's the dance from where twerking is derived from. It kind of blew my mind. I wasn't aware of that, but I'm glad to hear. But I just kind of wanted to throw that in there. It's like, next thing you know, okay, Gil comes to got a whole bunch of dance poles and the dance. Anyway,
Yeah.
no, but listen, let's take another quick break, and we'll be back to see if we can talk a little bit more. All right, and you are listening to Diaspora Central with Gil Ingles.
No meu aniversário prometeu-me trazer os lamas. Não aceitei, não sou ele fascinado. Com alguém já chorou, não compro felicidade. Não sou assim, não quero acabar mais. Não quero ser uma linda panela sensação. Não me incomodo, sobretudo o que dizem ali. Tenho a beleza suficiente pra ter um beijo pra mim. Minha mãe me ensinou e me educou que amigos posso ter, mas um homem só pra mim, só pra mim. Mas um homem só pra mim e também me falou. Tanya nada mais ele é só para dominar ela que não ele é só para dominar ela que não ele é só para dominar ela que não não sei se admito que eu me ofendas desse jeito por algo que eu não fiz, mas pra todos você diz que eu sou mulher indecente, que não tenho futuro, que nada vai dar certo, porque ando correndo no escuro. Ai, ai, ai. Oh, em Massuê. Oh, em Massuê. Não me incomodo, sobretudo o que dizem ali. Tenho a beleza suficiente pra ter um beijo. Minha mãe me ensinou e me educou que amigos posso ter, mas um homem só pra mim.
And we are back. If you have just joined us, you're listening to Diaspora Central with Gil Ingles, and our guest joining us virtually from Norfolk, Virginia is the CEO of the Mambo Room, Kianda Fiske, or Tanya Kianda Fiske. Tanya,
Hi.
any new plans for the Mambo Room? What do you guys have coming up?
Yeah, we are expanding. Well, we are constantly kind of expanding and contracting, right?
Okay.
Just because of the times with COVID and things that are going on. We have a National Kizomba Summit.
Okay.
That hopefully, as long as COVID, cooperates a little bit, we will be bringing an artist from Angola here in the second weekend of April.
Okay.
So I'm very excited about that. We also have our annual fundraiser, which is called the Dance-a-thon, which will be the last weekend of March. And if COVID works out and things start to get a little bit better, I'll actually be able to take some of my students here from the Mambo Room in Norfolk and around the country to Luanda for another experience of Kizaka.
To Angola. And that's Angola. Right. Okay. So and talking about Angola, how did you like Angola? What's the one thing that probably makes you miss Angola?
Oh, the music.
Yeah, the music. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's totally fair. So was a good trip?
Yeah, Angola is amazing. It's for me, when I go there, I kind of feel at home.
Okay.
It's a really beautiful experience. The people are just really warm and welcoming and, just really, really kind. And the music of Kizomba and Samba is kind of everywhere.
Okay.
And, a lot of dances, especially a lot of cultural dances, can get what I consider like a little bit sterilized the further away they get from their roots. And when I think of Samba, for example, and Kizomba, and I go to Angola, you can see how those dances are such a part of the culture, or the culture is such a part of the dances, right?
Right.
From the way that people interact with each other to the music itself, it's about family and it's about bringing people together, and it is about celebration of life, whether it's good times or bad times,
right.
And which also is one of the things that I love about salsa. So for me, that's part of that richness and that culture, and the food is so good.
Got you. So that authenticity is really what grabs you.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
It's really what has you.
And the fabrics and the fashion is just fantastic.
Yeah. Now, talking about fabrics, something new about you that a little bird told me, so I don't know if it is a rumor or not, but since I don't know, I'm going to ask. You are now cutting fabric?
Yeah, I'm working on I'm working on some designs and some clothes.
Okay.
I am very much inspired. When I was younger, one of the things that inspired me from my mom is because she's Irish and Scottish, of the different tartans from there, and some of the different things that they do with those tartans and clothing.
Yeah.
And learning and getting exposed to the African culture, the different patterns and the fabrics and the brightness of the colors and things like that have really inspired me to integrate those fabrics and colors into different designs.
Yeah.
So I'm working on a line, here.
Oh, okay. No, great. Is that from a heritage perspective, so your family has a tartan?
Yeah, my family has a historical tartan. My mom's family is the Kelly clan. So Kelly is a very popular Irish name. Okay. And they come from a huge, big family. Gotcha. So we have our own crest and our own tartan. Wow. And
all right. That's good heritage. And it's good to know, right? Because for someone born far away, right, to actually know that their heritage in Europe has a specific, that's great. Wonderful. That's good. I like family. I like that kind of stuff. I like that kind of stuff. But I'm also blown by the fact that you actually love Africa, and that you love Angola.
It's a little, I'm not really sure how to explain it. For me, my mom's family, my Scottish roots, which I'm very close to and connected to, are incredibly warm and hospitable and fun, and they're all very connected to music and to life. Okay. And I have found that same passion for life and that same music connection and that same kind of cultural appreciation in Africa.
Gotcha.
And so a lot of the people from the diaspora and from Angola remind me so much of my mom's family. Okay. Which I know seems strange because one's Scottish and one's African, but or Angolan, it's about people and it's about music and it's about celebrating life and it's about culture. And so for me, that I think comes from the root of where that connection is.
Okay, and I guess that describes that center on the Mambo Room cultural event. So that's what that center is. That's the center of all those cultures coming right through it.
Together, yeah. Which is really kind of like an example of me, right? Because I'm this weird kind of interesting, born in Japan, raised in America, traveled a lot, teaches African and Latin dances. It's like this real mix of integration.
But you have also done pop and hip hop music.
Right? That was my first dances because I got kicked out of ballet and jazz.
Oh wow!
when I was a kid.
So they kicked you out of ballet and jazz, and you went and joined hip hop.
Hip hop.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. I moved too much.
break dancing and all that.
Yeah, I loved it. That's exactly it. Like that's I used to watch Michael Jackson and I used to watch what is it called? The Beastie Boys.
Got you.
And
okay.
I used to love all of that.
Rap and hip hop.
The movie. Cool. I was like, what?
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah. Hey, Tanya, listen, it's been a pleasure having you join us. Any shout outs that you'd like to leave or give to?
I would love to say thank you so much to you for having me on.
You're quite welcome.
just kind of a shout out to everyone going through everything that's happening with COVID. Please stay safe. Please keep your family safe. This is a unique time in history for all of us. And, music and dance, when you're sitting around your house and you don't know what to do, just turn the station, try something new, try a new music, try a new sound, and kind of let it move you a little bit. And you'll hopefully kind of get a little bit more happiness.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel like art is how we're going to get through this, is through art.
Right. So regardless of whatever happens, what you're basically telling people to do is forget about your problems and dance.
Yes. If you don't want to dance, just listen to music. If you move in the chair, it's still dancing.
It's still dancing, right? As long as you dance, the problems will go away. We like that. We like that advice. We definitely do like that advice. Look, Kianda, it's been a pleasure having you joining us. I definitely appreciate it, and thank you. This is what Diaspora Central is supposed to do: is to honestly connect most of the people from the diaspora to different heritages throughout the world, so that we all can understand each other and know that these different cultures really become one. Yes, go ahead.
And Joe, I'm going to interrupt just for a second. I do want to make one shout out to my instructor of Pechu, who is Angolan and he's in Portugal. He really inspired me to do a lot of the training, and he's the one who brought me and encouraged me to go to Angola and showed me Angola. And I just want to say thank you so much for that, because that has been a huge impact on my life and part of the development of the Mambo Room itself.
Okay. Now let me ask you, since you actually brought up Pechu, let me kind of ask you a quick question. In regards to dancing, you initially were training with Pechu where in the US? So
I met Pechu in New York, actually. A woman named Carla Poma brought him to the United States for the very first time.
Carla who? I'm sorry.
Carla Poma.
Carla Palmer.
And that was in 2012. And I met him, and I trained with him and his partner Vanessa at the time. And I really was so curious about it. I was like, what is the music? What is the sound? What is the culture? I had 1,000 questions, and I just kept asking. And I was like a little kid, like, what's this? What's this? What's this?
Right.
And so he invited me to come to Portugal. And so that year I went to Portugal and I trained with him, and I trained with another couple, Afro-Latin Connection in Porto. And that really started me on a complete new journey of music and culture that I really didn't know existed, because I hadn't been exposed to it yet. And he was my exposure into the African culture, which for me has been life-changing.
Right. So there was Kizomba. So Kizomba introduced you to the African culture.
Yeah. Kizomba and Semba.
And that's how you ended up going back to Angola, I guess.
Yeah, that's how I ended up going back to Portugal for many years and training with him. And then that's how I ended up going to Angola 2 years ago. And then last year, I even brought some of my students with me. And so that's how next year I'm planning on also trying to do the same thing. So you have already gone multiple times, and you are still planning to take some more people with you. Congratulations. And I think on behalf of all Angolans, I should say thank you for trusting Angola with you with yourself and your students, because I'm sure that Angola appreciates you coming in and sharing also the passion that they have for their culture and your culture with them, and them sharing the Angolan culture with you. Sure. It's been my honor.
Definitely. Listen, we appreciate it again, and thank you. Listen, till next time, be safe.
Thank you.
Take care.